And joining us now, Florida Congressman Byron Donalds. Thank you for being here with us today. So I want to start here. I want to get your reaction to Bill's report, Congressman, because you have President Biden heading to Michigan to demand higher wages for union workers, but he isn't heading to the border. Elon Musk is apparently. And according to a recent NBC News poll, only 23% of voters approve of the president's handling of the border crisis going into this election. Your thoughts?
My first thought is, who's the 23% who thinks what's going on is a good idea? Look, what the southern border is an absolute disaster. It doesn't have to be this way. It is Joe Biden's fault. House Republicans have passed H.R. 2, which actually secures our border and is a complete reversal of what Joe Biden has done. And this is not just Republicans who now want to secure our border. Independents want to do it. Democrat mayors definitely want to do it. They just can't throw Joe Biden under the bus in order to get there. So I know why he's in Michigan and not at the southern border, because he would have to come face to face with the disaster that he created.
Congressman, big night for Fox Business tomorrow night with the second Republican debate. Our very own Stuart Varney and Dana Perino will be two of the three moderators that are going to be pressing the candidates to really get them to drill down on some of the issues: economy, border, crime in America. There's a lot to talk about here, but still, even those who are more popular, more in the lead, somebody like Ron DeSantis, trailing behind former President Donald Trump. What does one of these people have to do to break out on that stage tomorrow? What's the messaging from the Republican Party?
It's not even messaging at this point. In my view, Donald Trump's going to be the nominee, so I frankly think this whole thing is over. But if anybody on that stage wants to try to find a way to get into a real contest with Donald Trump, they have to own that stage, they have to own all the issues, and they have to rally the support from the other 6 people that are going to be there tomorrow night in order to do that. If none of them can break through and accomplish that, I mean, we've already seen 2 debates like this, 3 debates, 4 debates, 5 debates. I don't think it's going to change that matter, especially when you consider the fact that now in poll after poll, Donald Trump is beating Joe Biden, and it's becoming not even close. That's also because Joe Biden's a terrible president, and the entire country now sees it and recognizes it for what it is. So they have a lot of work to do. Somebody's got to step forward, take charge, and own that stage tomorrow night.
Congressman, you're in Capitol Hill. We're hearing a lot from Capitol Hill about how the government might shut down because we can't get a spending deal. I got to tell you, I'm somebody who wants to see massive cuts to federal spending. I have no interest in the status quo. On the other hand, I don't know what kind of leverage Republicans have right now to do much beyond maybe a continuing resolution. Where do things stand? Is this government going to shut down, and how does this end?
Well, a couple things are happening right now. Members up here on the Hill, we're going line by line through these appropriation bills, something I've advocated for, a lot of my colleagues have advocated for. We're doing that work right now, trying to find real cuts in our government, because the government is bloated, it's massive, and it's got to stop. That's one. Number two, frankly, I think a continuing resolution, I'm not sure if the votes are there for that right now. But whatever we do in a stopgap measure or with respect to the 12 appropriation bills, we have to demand border security. The southern border must be secured. This government should not be funded if our southern border is secured. That is my is left unsecured. That is my position. That is the position of most Republicans up here on Capitol Hill. Secure the border. Enough is enough.
I do want to follow up, though, on the shutdown, Congressman, because Moody's is warning that this would be considered credit negative for U.S. debt rating if there is a shutdown. Are you concerned about that all?
I'm not as concerned about that. What I'm much more concerned about is that for too long, the fiscal health of this nation has been ignored. And so House Republicans are the ones who are working hard as we speak to get our fiscal sanity in this town and get our fiscal health in order. If the rating agencies see that we are making serious efforts and executing spending cuts, doing the things to get our fiscal house in order, I think the rating agencies will be just fine. For the longest time, what they've wanted to see is Washington secure the fiscal health of the nation. We need to do that. Now is the time to get it done.
Congressman, if you can succeed in putting the words fiscal and sanity next to each other in a sentence and actually make it make sense in Washington, D.C., I will be grateful to you. Congressman Donalds, good to see you. Thanks for being with us.